Now, The Hunt Palmer Show.
This is a catastrophe.
You are now listening to The Hunt Palmer Show. Brought to you by Renaissance Homes and Pools on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
That's what I wished for when I blew out my candle.
Locking down the middle of the day. Live from the Raising Cane studio. This is Hunt Palmer.
The floor is yours.
Welcome in. Hunt Palmer coming to you from the Raising Cane studio downtown in the capital city on this Wednesday. About half the work week in the rearview mirror. Appreciate you hanging out with us on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. Wednesday show is brought to you by Renaissance Homes and Pools. Got Jordan Kitchens, Cassie Spazzali back there on the ones and twos. Saints signed a veteran quarterback. What do we think about that? We'll do it in 15 minutes. We'll hear some more from Lane Kiffin's meeting with the media yesterday. LSU got a victory over Louisiana Tech last night in 10-run fashion with a big eighth inning. Koki Riley will be here to discuss it at 2 o'clock. My SEC Power Rankings coming your way at 2:30. So as you can tell, there's plenty to do. I told you on Monday those spidey senses might be tingling a little bit. We've had a little bit of news today. Let's talk about it on our opening drive.
Welcome to the big league.
It's time for Hunt's Opening Drive. Presented by Fabry Chevrolet GMC in St. Francisville.
I'm having a little bit of deja vu here. Little bit of deja vu. Middle of November last year, kind of felt like this. End of November last year, kind of felt like this. Successful coach. LSU might be interested. Feel like there's a little bit of interest coming back the other way. Questions being asked in press conferences. Denials not being given. Denials in the media in that local market, and ultimately LSU becomes the destination. Now that part has not come true with Will Wade in Raleigh, North Carolina, but I told you on Monday that the silence felt deafening, and it still does, but it's being broken. Now, all you have to do here is connect dots. I'm not even doing any reporting here. I'm simply connecting dots in this situation. LSU's new president was the president at McNeese when Will Wade was there. They have a very good relationship. He has appointed a Board of Supervisors chairman in Lee Mallett, who has roots in Southwest Louisiana and is very, very openly a Will Wade supporter. That's not news. I'm not breaking any news. These are facts. They're evident. They have been for years. Now, this morning, John Rothstein, who is as plugged in as anybody in college basketball, puts out a tweet. And it's involving LSU. Nothing finalized in this tweet from John Rothstein, but just for your information. Says sources, LSU is working to hire McNeese Heath Schroyer as senior administrator. The Tigers' head coaching job is not open, but LSU president Dr. Ray Roos and Schroyer both previously hired NC State's Will Wade at McNeese and are on the verge of bringing him back to Baton Rouge. That is John Rothstein doing some reporting, but the name Heath Schroyer has been talked about in Baton Rouge over the last 3 weeks. And John Rothstein, who is very, very plugged in, is now reporting this. And you may know, well, how does John Rothstein have this information? Well, Heath Schroyer's background, for those that don't know, is in basketball. He was a coach for 26 years at the college level, 24 years in D1. He was McNeese's coach before he became the AD and hired Will Wade. So I'm just connecting dots here. Just connecting dots. Let's look at it. You've got a governor who wants to shake things up at LSU. So he puts his board members in place. The board members elect the new president, Dr. Wade Roos. And in so doing, the months that follow, a new head of the board comes on in Lee Mallett. All these guys have roots in Southwest Louisiana, and they bring in McNeese's athletic director, reportedly, to come fill a void at LSU as a senior administrator. You ever worked for somebody you really liked? Ever worked for somebody you didn't like? One of those is better than the other. And we understand how fondly Will Wade remembers his time in Lake Charles. You don't have to remember that far. It was 11 months ago. And that band is now back in Baton Rouge, a place that he also likes. The man that fired him, Scott Woodward, is no longer here. The rules that got him ousted are no longer in place. And his image is somewhat rehabilitated. So connecting these dots is not super difficult to do. And I told you on Monday that I've been listening to some NC State podcasts and reading some columns over there. And keep in mind, I understand this as well. I don't mean to throw a blanket on an entire industry. That's not what I'm trying to do. But y'all listen to me. Y'all read folks in this market. When you talk about college sports, the majority of the folks who cover local beats, not everyone, and I'm not even saying it's a bad thing because y'all know my background, the majority of people that cover local beats have deep ties to that school. They went to that school. They grow up pulling for that school, which is why they like sports, which is why they got into sports journalism. Like, they're like me. I'm that guy. Grew up in an LSU house. Went to LSU. Cover LSU. Don't even for 1 second try to hide my LSU allegiances. I think when you try to do that, there's a bit of phoniness to it. Everybody do their own job. Like, do what you do. But I'm listening to these NC State folks who clearly have ties to the school and are wearing Wolfpack hats and are writing for Wolfpack sites, and they're all going, this is not going to happen. Will Wade said in his postgame he's not going to leave NC State. No, he didn't. He didn't say that. He said, I'm happy here. I've met with our administration. They give me everything I've ever wanted. This is the worst team we'll have at NC State. He said, we're going to be hell next year. But he never said, I'm not going to LSU. He never said, I'm staying here for life. He never said, I'm not going anywhere. Like, he didn't say any of those things because he knew differently. And that's why I think people overreact to these press conferences so often. So often. Because I've told you what I think about these press conferences. They're worthless. The press has every right to ask questions. Coaches can get whatever answer they want. I have no problem whatsoever with Nick Saban saying, I'm not going to be the Alabama coach. And he goes and takes the Alabama job. Because guess what? When I say that to the media, they stop talking. And that's the goal anyway. I don't care what the media says. I got a job to do. I'm either doing the job here or I'm taking another job that I think is better, a better fit for me. I have no problem with Tommy Tuberville saying the only time I'm getting out of Oxford, Mississippi is in a pine wood box. He's at Auburn 5 minutes later. The only thing that you do by not answering and stringing things along is just build speculation and bubble things up. And that's kind of what Lane Kiffin let happen in Oxford because he wouldn't answer questions. And Will knew these questions were coming, and he gave calculated answers. But the fact of the matter is this. This looks exactly like the Lane Kiffin situation from football, where Lane would not tamp things down, would not put out a statement, would not suggest he wasn't taking other jobs, just kicked the can. And Will is not saying anything. He's not coming out on social media. He's not making a statement that he's staying. He hadn't signed a contract extension. Lane Kiffin didn't sign a contract extension. You connect the dots. The dots are easy to connect. Will Wade has eyes on Baton Rouge. I don't think that's an outlandish statement to make. John Rothstein is essentially reporting it. And every single move that LSU has made in the last 10 months can be connected to Will Wade. Now, I'm not suggesting the moves were specifically made for Will Wade, but the moves that were made create a pretty soft landing spot for Will Wade. So this looks to be pretty obvious. And last night, somewhere in the late evening, early morning hours of today, the tone changed in Raleigh. And all the folks who were saying, he's not going anywhere, NC State's not a stepping stone job, he's not going back to LSU, we're a basketball school, he said he's not leaving, which was never true. All those guys that were saying all those things, all of a sudden flipped and went, yeah, it looks like he's kind of leaving. That's what they're saying. And I stayed away from it for 2 days. But I'll tell you this, Matt Moscona's got a report that he came up with on LouisianaSports.net. He's having conversations last night into this morning. He's been having them for 2 weeks. He's got the report up on LouisianaSports.net right now. It's for free. Go check it out. But essentially what this report says is that Will Wade met with NC State officials yesterday. They wanted to talk to him about possible return to LSU. NC State would like Will Wade to stay. They're expected in the next day to make an offer. And LSU is working to bring Heath Schroyer to Baton Rouge from McNeese. And so this basically, as I've said this entire segment, this comes down to sounding just like the Lane Kiffin situation. I think Lane Kiffin had made up his mind at a certain point that he was going to go to LSU. Conversations he had had with coaches like Nick Saban and Pete Carroll, with people in Baton Rouge, with his agent, Jimmy Sexton, and then conversations he had had with the brass at Ole Miss, with Keith Carter and with their chancellor, and he had made that decision up. But he had to wait because he wanted to coach the team. In this instance, Will Wade has had conversations with NC State. I'm comfortable suggesting there have been plenty of conversations with the people that he's done very, very, very well in Louisiana. And I think he has decided that he's very likely coming to LSU. Now, what could happen? NC State could come back with a huge offer that makes him suggest, I want to stay. That is always possible until ink is dry. But I think he's looking at LSU. And so what's the wait? Well, the wait for Lane Kiffin was, I want to coach the playoff. I want to coach against Mississippi State. I want to coach the playoff. Ole Miss said no. The wait here, well, you're looking at a timeline. You're looking at a timeline of April 1st when his buyout drops by $2 million. And when you're paying Brian Kelly $800,000 a month, and you're paying Lane Kiffin $95 million, and you're paying this football roster north of $40 million, and you've got to pay Will Wade, and I guarantee you Will Wade's not getting on a plane to Baton Rouge, Louisiana without assurances of what kind of roster money he's going to have at his disposal. It's a lot of money. And if there's a very easy way to wait 6 days to save $2 million, I think LSU's basketball program in the state that it's in is probably willing to do that. The question is, does NC State say, well, portal opens 6 days later, we got to hire a coach, so we're ready when the portal opens, get out of here. Well, now you got to settle. So there are a lot of things that have to happen. Nothing is official to this point. I'm reading reports and I'm connecting dots, but it's just not that hard to do. This is not moving in the dead of night. This is the governor of the state of Louisiana. It's the president of Louisiana State University. It's the head of the board of supervisors and McNeese's athletic director. These are not people that are moving in the quiet. These are public figures. Now, they're not doing anything outwardly, but we know where they come from. We know what their background is. So when John Rothstein, who's a national reporter, jumps in with that, okay. When Matt, who's been as plugged into this as anybody in the market, has that, okay, well, this is pretty easy to me. I feel pretty comfortable with what's coming over the next 7 days. How quickly? I don't know. But over the next 7 days, feels like that's the way this is headed. It felt like that in late November with Lane Kiffin. It feels like that today with Will Wade. Nothing done. Feels like that, though. All right, that's our opening drive here on this Wednesday edition of the Hunt Palmer Show, brought to you by Renaissance Homes and Pools. When we come back, Saints made a big move yesterday. We'll talk about it next.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
GoTro's Outdoor Power. GoTro's Outdoor Power. It is mower madness. So get on by and see them. 2 locations, one in Baton Rouge on Airline Highway. The other one is in Gonzales. Incredible deals going on. You're talking about 15% off on all Echo products, 15% off all DeWalt items now. Talking about $250 off all Hustler Raptors. And listen to this one at Mower Madness at GoTro's Outdoor Power. 32% off MSRP on Hustler Commercial Zero Turns. Up to 32% off. They're going to be raffling off 2 DeWalt 20-volt blowers at each store on Friday at the open house. They'll have food. They'll have giveaways. But these are the lowest prices the GoTro's Outdoor Power will have all year. So if you're in the mood for a new zero-turn mower, it's growing season. Grass is going to be growing around here till Thanksgiving. Get to GoTro's Outdoor Power and take part in the Mower Madness deals. 2 locations, Airline Highway in Baton Rouge and, of course, in Gonzales. That's GoTro's Outdoor Power.
Hi, this is Beth Serena. Welcome to my pool. The first time I saw this beautiful pool, it exceeded every expectation that I had. They were able to get everything we wanted in this pool. It is a beautiful pool. We live out here. We eat out here. We watch TV out here. This is like our living room outside. We love this pool and everything about it. When we decided to build our pool, we called a great friend who is one of the best pool builders in the country in North Louisiana, and we said, who would you choose to build a pool in Baton Rouge? And without a hesitation, he told us Russell Pools. He said their history, tradition of great builds, great pools was unmatched. So of course, who did we call? Russell Pools. The advice I would give to anyone looking to build a pool is first call Russell Pools. They'll do an incredible job. It'll be incredibly organized. It'll be time efficient, and you will have your pool in no time.
I'm Lawyer Locke Meredith. If you're battling an insurance company because of a wreck not your fault and they're not calling you back or being fair, whether you hire us at all, give us a call, 272-5555, or email Locke Meredith, Sean Fagan and Associates. You have nothing to lose.
Hello, I'm Collins Meredith. If you've been injured on the job, you likely have a workers' compensation claim, but you may also have a tort claim which opens up significant recovery rights not normally available for a work injury. If this is you, call us or come see us at Locke Meredith, Sean Fagan and Associates.
I'm Gabrielle McLeod on behalf of the Louisiana Propane Dealers. I have spent hundreds of hours preparing for scholarship competitions. That preparation paid off when I won the Fitness and Talent Awards along with the title of Miss Louisiana. The Louisiana Propane Dealers are also pretty talented and want you to be prepared for when the power goes out. Visit LouisianaPropane.com to find out about propane generators and other safety tips. Louisiana Propane, it truly is the fuel for our future.
These are the luckiest ice cubes in the world. They could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they've been called upon to cradle and cool a crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Looks like the lucky just got luckier. Dos Equis.
Looking for the ultimate game day experience? Come to the Queen Casino in Baton Rouge. Savor game day platters and snacks, plus drink specials at 1717 Kitchen and Cocktail. So come out for game day and let our team make you the MVP. The Queen Casino, where every moment is a win.
You're listening to The Hunt Palmer Show, brought to you by Renaissance Homes and Pools.
Renaissance Homes and Pools, built by Renaissance.com, built by Renaissance.com. They do just what it says in the name. They do homes. If you're looking for your forever home and want that built, Joey Blanchard can help you out with that at Renaissance Homes and Pools. Looking for your dream pool? Still time to get into it for the summer months. Contact Joey Blanchard at Renaissance Homes and Pools. You want that outdoor kitchen, that entertaining space you've always wanted outdoors? Renaissance Homes and Pools can help you out with that. Built by Renaissance.com is the website. But I want to tell you, text Joey directly. He's the owner of the company, and he's the guy you need to talk to because he'll be with you every step of the way for that home build, for that pool build, for that outdoor kitchen build. He can do it all. 225-252-7745 is the number, 225-252-7745. You can find him online at builtbyrenaissance.com. Saints made a move last night in the after-dinner hours, I would suggest, and added a big name. I don't know if he's going to have a big impact, but a big name to their roster, and that, of course, is Zach Wilson, former number 2 pick in the draft by the Jets, and has not panned out, candidly. I mean, he had 3 years with the Jets. Over the course of that time, he went 3-10 as a starter, 5-4 as a starter, 4-7 as a starter, battled some injuries, was with Miami last year, played in 4 games, has not been an impact player in the NFL, but is clearly a talent and is clearly young. Like, he just played his 26-year season. He's going into his age 27 season. He's a mobile guy. He's got a strong arm. He was talented enough that a lot of draft analysts liked him, and the Jets liked him enough to take him at the 2nd pick in the draft. The Saints aren't asking him to come in and be the franchise savior like the Jets were. The Saints are asking him to come in and fill a role. And that role could add up to be a lot of different things. He could be a veteran voice behind Spencer Rattler and Tyler Shuck. Now, he's not older than them, but he's got more NFL service time than them. So he could be used to do that. he could come in and get cut during training camp. So it's a 1-year deal, no risk. Or he might come in and be an insurance policy if the Saints are, in fact, getting phone calls from Spencer Rattler. Not from Spencer Rattler, for Spencer Rattler. I don't know if Spencer's calling Gale or not. But if they're getting phone calls about Spencer Rattler, then you've got an insurance policy that if you can get an asset for Spencer Rattler and plug Zach Wilson as a backup, that is a win. It's all about maximizing roster spots and resources in the NFL. So this is a no-risk move whatsoever. And I think it's a good one because when I look at the 3 quarterbacks the Saints have right here front and center, they have similar skill sets. Like, you don't have like a surefire stand-in-the-pocket passer. All of them are good athletes. None of them are run-first players. So in that way, they're kind of the same. So you don't have to tailor anything any differently for your quarterback. Like if you've got Drew Brees and your backup quarterback is Taysom Hill, that's 2 completely different worlds that you're in if there's a compromise in the offense. In this case, like, Shook's the best, and Rattler and Wilson are behind them, but if one of those 2 guys is your backup and Shook goes down for a short amount of time, any extended amount of time I'm concerned with any team in the NFL with backup quarterback, but for a short amount of time, 3 drives, 2 games, something like that, it's not like you have to completely overhaul everything you're doing. You've got guys that are a relatively the same age, relatively the same skill set. You can continue to run the offense the way that you have run it. My gut tells me that this news will be insignificant to the future of the New Orleans Saints. It's a low-risk, short-term quarterback that's being signed. He's got a big name attached to him because he was the second pick in the draft, but this is not a big story. Unless things happen that create that big story. And I think the biggest thing to look for is one of those things I mentioned. If the Saints could get some interest in Spencer Rattler, there's not going to be any interest in Zach Wilson. That's been proven. The best offer he got was from the Saints for a 1-year deal. Like, there is no market for Zach Wilson. There might be a market for Spencer Rattler. I have my doubts, but there might be. And if there is, and you can recoup a 6th or something for him, good. The more picks, the better. I think there are a lot of folks maybe that are looking at this going, why would you want Zach Wilson? He stinks. He was terrible with the Jets. He didn't play last year. He's a bust. He's cheap, and he fills a role. This is a no-risk, potential small reward deal. Now, if you want me to flesh this out in the most involved way I possibly can, so like you're discounting that he's a camp arm, you're discounting that he gets cut in August, you're discounting that Rattler gets traded and he becomes the back. Like you're suggesting that he actually becomes the backup and has to play. Like that's the best case scenario for Zach Wilson is he wins the job as the backup, Shuck goes down and he's in the game. Like that's as far as this thing can go, right? Well, I'll talk about that then. I think he's a well below average NFL starting quarterback with some positive traits. If you're looking for a quarterback to come in and help you win 3 out of 5 if Shuck goes down, like I don't think Wilson gives you the best opportunity at that. He's really never proven that. He had 1 year where he did go 5-7 with the Jets. So maybe. That was the team with Rodgers when he got hurt. Wilson went in and then he got hurt. So that team, really good defense. I don't think he's the best option for that. But there's a ceiling that's a little bit higher than if you go get somebody that's 38. Ultimately, if Zach Wilson has to play for New Orleans, it probably doesn't go very well because there's really no evidence to suggest it will go there. In his career, he's thrown 23 touchdowns and 25 interceptions. His completion percentage is 57%. There's just not a lot of positivity on the stat sheet. If you're looking for positivity with Wilson, it comes in 2 forms. 1, he's young and talented and has physical gifts. And 2, he gives you an insurance policy in case Rattler is dealt. And then I'd be fine with him as a backup quarterback. My theory that I always work off of, and there are certainly instances that you could point to disprove it. Nick Foles, Tom Brady at the NFL level, Cardell Jones at the college level. There are instances where a quarterback got hurt, missed a lot of time, and the backup came in and was great and led to a championship or led to a great season. You can point to those throughout football history, recent past. But more often than not, when you lose your quarterback, your season's derailed. Like, more often than not. Sean Payton found a way to coax some wins out of Taysom Hill and Teddy Bridgewater. That's perfectly reasonable. But if the Saints are going to do really good things this year, it's going to come on Tyler Shuck's back. So whoever they sign as a veteran backup, whatever Spencer Rattler becomes, like, I don't have high hopes for that. My focus here is, like, what assets could it bring back and what could it bring you to benefit Shuck? Whether that's a draft pick via Rattler or that's a veteran presence via Wilson that may be able to impart something from being now a part of 3 organizations that might be able to help Shuck. Maybe that's a minuscule thing to look at. Maybe that's the minutia, but this is a big name the Saints have brought in. I don't find it to be a big move. I find it to be a positive move because there's so little downside to it, and we'll see what the future holds. If Zach Wilson's got to play for the Saints, that's a bit of trouble. But Saints bring on Zach Wilson. He'll play his age 27 season if he's with New Orleans throughout. But right now, the Saints looking at Tyler Shuck, Spencer Rattler, and Zach Wilson as their quarterback room. Jordan, what'd you think when you saw Zach Wilson coming to New Orleans? Did you throw a party last night?
No, I didn't. I didn't have a party. It was more like I think that the Saints are going to try and ramp Rattler up a little bit in the preseason, maybe get his value up there.
Some backup goes down.
Yeah, it always happens every year.
Yeah.
Some backups, it's the NFL. Somebody's going to get hurt. Everybody's going to get hurt. So that was where my mind first went, is that I can see them, maybe pull Shuck back a little bit. We already know it's going to be QB1. Let Rattler showcase for other teams.
Yep.
Somebody's going to be thirsty for a quarterback. It happens every year. So that could be an instance. Or, Zach Wilson's going to be good at handing waters out, maybe a good scout team quarterback. Other than that, like, it's a minuscule. Yeah. If Zach Wilson's getting real snaps for you this season, it's over with. It's over.
You got some problems. Our Wednesday show is brought to you by Renaissance Homes and Pools. We'll come back with more next.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
I'll tell you about Marucci. Marucci's awesome. Opening day of Major League Baseball kind of today. It's opening night. Tonight, opening day in earnest is tomorrow. And you turn on the TV, you're going to see a bunch of the best players in the world swinging bats that were made right here in Baton Rouge. And you can go see them. Go see where 1,200 bats are made every day as the official bat of Major League Baseball. That's Marucci. It was formed 22 years ago by a couple of ex-ball players and their personal trainer, and now it's the best in the world. And you can go see it. Take a tour. Learn the story of how Marucci came to be, how it rose to the top of the sport. And then go see where they're making 1,200 bats, where they're sawing them down, where they're staining them, and how they're getting them out of town. If you want to go take some swings, youth baseball team, youth softball team, they can do that as well. MarucciSports.com is the website. Just get a campus tour ticket there. 20% off in the campus tour store and in the Hitter's House when you get that ticket for the campus tour. Online at MarucciSports.com.
Transform your living space with Lacoste & Young Remodeling and take your home from outdated to outstanding. Redefine your kitchen for the ultimate culinary experience, or elevate your daily routine with a spa-worthy bathroom retreat. Our skilled team brings 3D modeling to life to ensure your vision becomes a reality. We believe luxury should be accessible and offer tailored solutions to fit your budget without compromising quality. So contact us today for a free estimate. Lacoste & Young Remodeling, providing perfect solutions for your dream home.
At Raising Cane's, we hand batter every chicken finger, mix every cane sauce, butter every Texas toast, stir every slaw, and salt every fry. Because when you do it right, you can taste it in every bite. Raising Cane's chicken fingers, one love.
Parrish Construction and Roofing, trusted by champions, built for Louisiana.
Do business with someone you know. Parrish Construction and Roofing.
Parrish Construction and Roofing. ParrishBuilt.com.
Sometimes you ignore the signs, even when they're right in front of you. Problem gambling isn't always easy to spot. Know the signs, set your limit. Learn more about healthy gambling habits by visiting us online or text or call for free, confidential help now.
If your office is experiencing performance performance issues like slow networks, jammed printers, or disappearing files? Advanced Office Systems may be right for you. With powerful IT solutions, print management, document imaging, and security systems, they help offices regain confidence naturally. Side effects may include uncontrollable efficiency, smoother workflows, and a sudden burst of office joy. Say goodbye to those emotional breakdowns in the supply closet and get back on track with Advanced Office Systems.
Looking for cleaner energy? Propane is energy for everyone. And when you're cooking with clean, affordable propane, you're cooking with gas. In the wintertime, nothing heats a home like Louisiana propane. And when you need hot water, propane's got you covered. Oh, and you won't regret that propane generator when the power goes out. I'm Miss Louisiana, Gabrielle McLeod, and to find more information and to find a propane dealer near you, visit louisianapropane.com.
Looking for the ultimate game day experience? Come to the Queen Casino in Baton Rouge. Wall-to-wall TVs mean you'll see every touchdown in HD. Place your bets and feel the thrill of every play with our DraftKings Sportsbook. The Queen Casino, where every moment is a win.
This is the Hunt Palmer Show, brought to you by Renaissance Homes and Pools.
We'll hear from Lane Kiffin coming up in our next segment here. Remind you about my friends over at Ochsner. They want to remind you that March is Colon Cancer Awareness Month. Colon cancer is common, but it is preventable and treatable if you catch it early. How do you catch it early? Well, screening. That can detect precancerous polyps before they turn into cancer. Okay, when should I get screened then? Right around 45. If you've got family history, maybe a little bit earlier. If you've got some symptoms like persistent abdominal pain, maybe some bleeding, go see a doctor. It's important to get checked as quickly as possible in that entrance. Colonoscopy remains the gold standard, and so for those at low risk, there could be some other options, but talk to your provider. That's important. They can help determine the best choice for you. Having that established relationship with your primary care provider makes all of the difference, and they can guide you to the right screenings for you. Make an appointment with your primary care physician. Ochsner Health is happy to help you with that. You can go to ochsner.org/schedule or go through the My Ochsner app. That's ochsner.org/schedule or through the My Ochsner app. All right, last night, LSU and Tech were on the diamond at the box, and it's almost like LSU just had to play that first half inning to get it out of their system. Like, you got to do it, so might as well get it out of the way early. Leadoff walk to Cade Patters, the leadoff man. Then you go 3-2. And you got Ricken on the mound, and he throws a breaking ball that's not really in the zone, and Lunsfo hacks it into right field. Jake Brown picks it up on 2 hops and wings it out of play to score a run. Then Tech scores on an RBI ground out. Then Ricken issues a 4-pitch walk. And so you've seen 4 guys come to the plate. You got a walk, a hit, a throwing error, and a 4-pitch walk. It's just it's so frustrating to sit there and watch. And then after they got that out of their system, they were fine for the next 7.5 innings. Fine. Even when they gave up runs late in the game, I didn't have a huge problem with it. But goodness, the first half was ugly. However, offensively, LSU played a good ball game. They played a good ball game offensively. You're seeing a half Conference USA, half Sun Belt team, depending on what Tech decides it's going to be next year for the purposes of this, I guess, Conference USA. And you should hit them, and LSU did, and they hit them pretty hard. John Pearson, big 2-run single in the first, hit it hard up the middle of the field. Jake Brown did a great job to keep his front shoulder in against a left-handed pitcher, which he did not do last year, drive the ball the other way for an RBI hit. I love to see that. Derek Curiel had 2 doubles. That was great. Zach York hit 2 mammoth home runs to the pull side. I talked about that yesterday. His year has not been that bad to date offensively when you compare him to the rest of the guys on the team. He was hitting 275 with 4 homers entering last night. That's hardly the worst we've seen. But the 0-for-4 with 4 strikeouts on Friday was terrible. He's made some bad throwing errors, yes. He has not been great, but He can hit. I promise he can hit. I'm not promising you he will hit at LSU. I promise you he's capable of hitting. And last night he got 2 pitches from Tech midweek bullpen guys and powered him over the wall in right field, so that was good to see. Maybe that gets him going a little bit. Stephen Milam was on the baseball for a good bit last night. I like to see him with 3 hits in the game. Trent Caraway stung a double inside the bag at third base. It skipped down to the left field corner, which I liked. Omar Cerna got a couple of hits. It wasn't even the hardest balls that he hit. I liked Chris Stanfield's drag bunt attempt, even though he did go 0 for 4 with 3 strikeouts. He did put down a good bunt and was nearly safe on that. So I thought the 14 hits was the most LSU's had since the Indiana game in Jacksonville. 15 runs was a good thing to see. I'm not saying all your ills are cured because you knocked Louisiana Tech around the yard for 7 innings, I guess. Well, no, 8. They did a hit in the 8th and got the 6 runs. Not saying that cures everything, but it's nice. It's a nice anecdote for you. It's a nice palate cleanser for you. It's a nice midweek game between SEC series, especially one where you did not swing the bat worth a flip against Oklahoma, to go out there and hit the ball hard. And that's what they did. That's been my chief concern with LSU. It's not that they strike out too much. They really don't. They're a good walk team, but that is a lot of times something that is brought on by the opposition. I'm not going to give LSU a massive amount of credit for Cam Johnson just throwing it all over the place like a clown. I'm not going to give LSU a massive amount of credit for Vanderbilt's Game 3 starter just completely losing his composure. You got to draw walks, and it's a big deal, and being patient is good, but you're not going to draw any walks if the opponent throws strikes. So, again, it's not they're striking out too much. It's not that they're not walking enough. They're doing those things. They're just not hitting the ball hard enough. And they hit the ball hard last night, so that's good. I asked Jay Johnson on Saturday last week. I said, okay, you're looking at these offensive issues. Like, is it swing decisions or is it quality of contact? Because that's really the two things. Or are you not hitting because you're taking good pitches and swinging at bad pitches? That's a way to not hit. Or are you not hitting because when you do swing, you're not hitting the ball hard? Those are two different issues, and LSU is not hitting the ball hard. That's important. Like, you can look at the stat sheet, and like one of the stats that jumps off the page at you is that LSU had 9 2-out RBIs. That's a good stat for the game. Is it something that I can replicate moving forward? No. Like, I can't be a good 2-out hitting team. You can be a better 2-strike hitting team. Can't be a better 2-out hitting team. It's like you can't be a better hitting team with runners in scoring position. Like, you're a good hitter, so you get hits with 2 outs and you get hits with runners in scoring position, or you're not a good hitter, so you don't get hits with 2 outs and you don't get hits with runners in scoring position. So for LSU, the key last night was not that they drove in runs with 2 outs. It was the fact that they hit the ball hard. That's what you needed, and that's what you got. Pitching-wise for LSU, Reagan Ricken just hasn't been very good in these starts. He only got 2 outs last night. He walked 2 guys. He gave up a hit. The hit was on a 3-ball count. He only threw half his pitches for strikes. I'll tell you this. This is just my eye when I watch Reagan Ricken. I think he's going to be really good at LSU. I love his mechanics. I love how easy the ball comes out of his hand. I really like the shape of his pitches. I like the shape of his fastball. I like the shape of his changeup. I really like the shape of his breaking ball. He looks like a starter. Everything he does profiles as a starter, from the release to the stuff. He's just not there yet. And this is a guy, as I talked about in January a lot, that played all the sports growing up, was a high school quarterback, like has never fully devoted himself to baseball. And no matter how far I think LSU goes this year, whether that's not qualifying for the SEC tournament, just missing the NCAA tournament, getting in the field, getting a host, or getting a top 8, or going to Omaha, like whatever LSU does from any part of the gamut, I think this summer is going to be important for Ricken, assuming he doesn't throw too many innings, which he's certainly not on pace to because he's not getting a lot of outs when he's out there. He needs some time in the Northwood League. He needs some time in Cape Cod. He'll need a good fall next year, and I really believe he can be a big piece to what LSU's doing. Now, in an ideal world, you never know, but in an ideal world, Kason Evans and William Schmidt are back next year, and that would certainly project to be your 2 frontline starters. But I like Ricken. I think he's got real starter potential. He just didn't show it last night, and he hadn't really shown it in these SEC outings. Ethan Plog was good. He did walk 2 guys in his 2 innings, but he struck out 3 and didn't give up any runs or hits. Benj came in and got the guy that he was asked to face and got out of it. I thought Zion Theophilus was probably the best pitcher that LSU put out there in terms of performance last night. He goes 2 innings, gave up 2 hits, and struck out a pair. That was it for him. I loved the look of that. Cooper Williams got a pair of strikeouts. Dak Dothie got a strikeout. Marcos Paz had an inning that was bumpy. He gave up a hit and 2 runs that scored from Grant Fontenot gave up a hit. But I just like the stuff from Paz. I like the velo. I like the sharpness of the breaking ball. Like, I think he's going to be a starter in time at LSU. It kind of looks more like a reliever right now, but I like the stuff from him. Fontenot was throwing hard last night. He gave up the 2 RBI hit when he was throwing 98 with the heater, and then he spun a breaking ball, and the Tech kid got out in front of it and whipped it into left center field. But Garcia came in and got the guy that he was asked to get. So, and they gave him a save for that. So, it was a game that is not super noteworthy. You just needed to win it. You need to win these games. I thought that they swung the bats well, that they got a lot of pitchers on the mound. They did not have to use Devin Sheeran. Gavin Guidry was probably unavailable for this game after 70 pitches on Saturday, but he didn't pitch. So you're going to need those guys to extend this weekend because you've got Evans, you got Schmidt, and then you don't have Cooper Moore. So you're going to need some of your best arms, Sheeran, Guidry, Rizzi, who didn't pitch last night. Some of these guys are going to have to give you extended outings. You're going to need a reliever or two to give you 3 innings because you don't have a proven lengthened starter for Game 3 of this weekend. So for LSU to get a lot of guys some work this weekend, to this midweek, to not go to their key guys, and then for the offense to hit it hard, I thought that's about as well as things could go. Yeah, you gave up 5 runs. Yeah, you made an early error. It wasn't perfect in the early going, but I thought that LSU played a pretty good game last night after the first 4 batters, which were extremely frustrating. LSU beats Louisiana Tech 15-5 in run rule fashion. Tigers now will look towards Kentucky this weekend, and an interesting matchup is going to feature another heavy small ball team coming to the box for the Tigers. So we'll talk about that on Friday's show. We'll take a time out now. When we come back, we'll hear from Lane Kiffin from yesterday. That's next.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Boudreaux's Electrical Services. Get the Boudreaux's Boost. You go, what's the Boudreaux's Boost? Well, the Boudreaux's Boost is for those that have bought a Generac home standby generator, but never get any customer service because you bought it from the big box store and you just thought, well, that's all I need to do, and now I've got it, and you've had issues because there are maintenance issues that need to be taken care of. There does need to be monitoring of that system so that it's ready to spring into action when your power fails. You may not get that from the big box store, and Breck, you probably won't. So go with the locally owned and operated company. Neil and Melissa have been doing this for Boudreaux's Electric for 40 years. They know our part of the world. They're intent on serving our part of the state. So give them a call at 985-397-1562. They've been at it 40 years. 985-397-1562 or get it at 225-300-9389. That Boudreaux's Boost gives you the customer service that you're missing from the big box store on your Generac home standby generator. Storm season's always around the corner. Call Boudreaux's Electrical.
These are the luckiest ice cubes in the world. They could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they've been called upon to cradle and cool a crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Looks like the lucky just got luckier. Dos Equis.
At Ochsner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Ochsner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one. You. Ochsner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
Who bears the standard? Who sets the bar? It's not those satisfied by low-hanging fruit or by taking it easy. No, the standard is set by the best of us, by those who work hard. Dig deeper. Give more. At Sunshine, we're proud to provide John Deere products that work hard for you, the standard bearers. Find the dealer nearest you at sunequip.com.
After a decade of working in private duty nursing, I know how hard it can be to find compassionate care for the ones that you love the most. So I started Decision Critical, a premier concierge nursing agency, so we can take care of you wherever you are. Our highly skilled nurses provide exceptional care from the comfort of your own home with personalized packages for short-term, long-term, or even around-the-clock care. Visit us at decisioncriticalbr.com and give us a call today to get started.
Looking for cleaner energy? Propane is energy for everyone. Propane water heaters are very cost efficient, and the savings are even greater with a tankless propane water heater. We all know that Louisiana propane is a safe and environmentally friendly fuel. So why not go green while you save some green? I'm Miss Louisiana, Gabrielle McLeod, and for more information, visit louisianapropane.com.
When it comes to choosing energy for your family and your home, make the smart choice with natural gas. You can count on efficient and affordable natural gas to keep you comfortable and reduce your environmental impact to help protect our planet. Together, we're fueling our energy future. Atmos Energy.
This is the Hunt Palmer Show, brought to you by Renaissance Homes and Pools.
Fabry Chevrolet GMC, FabryChevrolet.com is where you can find the entire inventory. FabryChevrolet.com. Looking for a Silverado up to $11,000 off MSRP. They got it at Fabry Chevrolet GMC. Looking for a GMC Sierra up to $13,000 off MSRP or 0.0 APR financing. They're looking for an SUV, Chevy Tahoe, Suburban. Maybe you're looking for a Yukon or a Denali. They've got them all at Fabry Chevrolet GMC. You know what you're going to get from the Fabry family. Unbelievable customer service, a great buying experience, and service after that sale. Make that short drive to St. Francisville. That's where they're set up, Highway 61 in St. Francisville. You can find that entire inventory online at FabryChevrolet.com. That's FabryChevrolet.com. All right, Lane Kiffin talked to the media yesterday, and I'm going to play a couple of different bites here that cover a couple of different things, but I do think that most of it does lend itself to some of what we're going to get from Lane Kiffin at the podium. We're still learning on that front. And I've told you a million times that I don't care how you handle yourself at press conferences. I only care whether you win or lose. But I do think it's important for me to learn what it is that coaches are accomplishing at the microphone. And I think I do a decent job of that in some pretty quick order. And my sense on Lane is that he is going to stay very, very far away from injury, and he's not going to give us a lot at practice. But if you ask him a question that's not involved to strategy or injury, he'll generally give you pretty good answers. So let's go through a couple of his answers in the opening statement yesterday, and it kind of starts with being out on the field.
Excited to be out there today. You know, a lot of work since we've got here has gone into obviously building the roster, but all the things around the program. And so to go out there day one today, to finally be able to be out there in a practice format was great. You know, kind of had a moment before too of, you know, just reminding myself of how grateful I am to be here, appreciative, but also the responsibility level that I have coming here to LSU, to the people of Louisiana, the great players and coaches that have been here before. So I don't not understand that. And that was pretty cool just thinking of that as I walked out on the field today.
I think he's telling the truth. There's coach speak in that, of course. And I think everyone understands when they take a job at LSU, whether it's men's basketball, women's basketball, softball, baseball, football, whatever. Like you got a big job on your hands. And Kiffin knows that, and he took this job because folks told him how great a job and how big a job it is. And so he's here. I think he was being truthful about that. I think he might have said that at a lot of different places, but certainly I think he believes it at LSU. Question is how much work they have to do, and I think it sounds like there's a lot.
I thought our guys' energy level was high. I thought their excitement was there. Now we have a lot of work to do. I said that the first day that we got here, and now that we're into practice format, things don't happen overnight. So We're making some first steps, but there's a ton of work to do. And like I said before, we've assembled a good roster, but at the same time too, there's a ton of work that goes into that to get the program back up to where everybody around here wants it to be, and why the reason that we came here. It was 7-6 last season. So within that comes change. Within that comes a lot of work, because that's a long jump to go to the level that I came here to get at, and all the people around the program want to be at.
I don't disagree with that. 7-6 to where LSU wants to be is a long way. It's a long way. Now, you've got a completely different staff offensively and a completely different roster offensively, and in a lot of respects, a lot of things different on defense as well. It's a long way to go, and we'll see they've made their first step as yesterday. Glenn West asked Lane about the "it's just different" moniker that he's used a lot, and I did think that this was a pretty thoughtful answer.
Just different really entails a lot, and it's why I just think it's a really good phrase because it comes up a lot. I'm sitting in meetings like, well, how do you like this? How do you like, and it's like you're just trying to explain to outsiders like it's just different, and that means Louisiana and the mindset of people here. I really enjoy Louisiana parents and how they think, and what they put into their kids, and how their kids want to work the same way, but that they come in and the questions that they ask, and they're like, hey, we just want to know like that if he works really hard, he's going to get a fair shot. That may sound like a normal question, but nowadays that's not what parents are usually asking anymore, and that's a different mindset. But then also on that, the expectations, the great players that played here, the stadium, like all of that is just different than other programs.
And I think there's some truth to that, and this is a different place than the place that he was, and certainly different than Florida Atlantic. I don't know that it's miles different than Alabama, but he wasn't head coach there. So I thought that was an interesting answer that he gave, and then he went a little bit further than that in talking about like running the program from the top.
We teach the recruits and the players, like, if you're going to come here with the way that we do it here, it's going to be really different, and you're not going to like it. Like, if you want to get a check and be pretty good, like, it's not going to work. Like, if you don't want to, that the number one thing that you're doing is being the best player that you can the entire year, and that is your number one focus outside of everything else, it's not going to be a great experience for you, because you're not going to feel comfortable here in it, because those are the people like Tradez, like Ty, Witt has it, like the people that we're going to bring here, but that's how our coaches are. Not just do I come out and say like, okay, at 9-10 p.m. there's 2 players up here, because they struggled the day before in workouts or something like that. Well, the coaches are up here too. So it's just a different type of thing you're coming into.
And that I found to be one of the most interesting sound bites from yesterday, because when you run a program, as he did at Ole Miss, that is so heavily dependent on highly paid transfers, getting those players to buy in, to work hard, to put in the effort necessary with that money that they've already got, and with the fact that they don't have a strong tie to the university, it's just a 10-month thing, that can be a real challenge. Clearly he did it well, because they had a really good season this past year. And, I don't think they quit 2 years ago. They just played bad against Florida. But he would have made the playoff in 4 of his last 5 years in Oxford if it were 12 teams. So it's something he has experience with, but I think that battle is never ending. I think you're always trying to make sure. That's true of professional sports too. You just got to hope that in this quick speed dating world of the transfer portal, that you get people into the program that think the right way and that do things the right way. And if you're just chasing cash, you're not guaranteed to get that. So you got to spend the money to get the players. And then once they get here, you've got to hope that they're not motivated just by the money. It's an interesting dichotomy that you've got to navigate. And that is not unique to LSU. It's not unique to Ole Miss. It's the landscape of college sports. It's not unique to football. So I'm interested in that, and I think he gave a good answer. And I think that's probably the pitch he gives. Like, hey, if you sit down with me and Billy Glasscock and we have a conversation and we say this is what money we have available, you and your representative can talk about that. But I'll tell you this, like, if you're just here for this check, it's probably not going to go great. You need to get your hands dirty with the rest of these guys. And he's already talked about Ty Benefield in glowing terms, and he's already talked about Jordan Seaton in glowing terms, and talking about those guys setting an example there. And maybe it's just a matter of you've got guys in your program that set the standard. And then you get guys that come in quickly that are big-name players that buy into it, and then everybody kind of falls in line. And maybe that's the hope. But I thought that was a thoughtful answer, trying to give the truth. I just think it's a hard battle to fight when you're paying young people so much money and they've got so many people pulling at them in different directions, and it's cash in no matter if they, run for 1,000 or play 4 plays. That's something he's used to, though. So we'll have to put that in place here at LSU. That's a look at some LSU football. We did LSU basketball in the first segment, did some Saints football as well, did LSU baseball. We hit 4 different sports in 4 different segments. Missed any of that? Catch the show on demand. Hunt Palmer Show. Like, subscribe, rate, review. We always appreciate that. You can find some of the audio on LouisianaSports.net as well. We'll take a time out. We'll come back after national headlines with SportsCenter. We'll talk to Koki Riley about the baseball team. My SEC baseball power rankings are coming up on the bottom of the hour. So come back with us. It's a Wednesday edition. The Hunt Palmer Show.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Swing Easy Golf Club in Baton Rouge. SwingEasyGCBR.com. SwingEasyGCBR.com. What a great place to go hang out. We're halfway home to the weekend. If you're looking for a place to go on the weekend, don't have a tee time. It's hard to get a tee time sometimes in this city. Well, you can get one at Swing Easy. You can get a private bay. Tee it up at Pebble Beach. Tee it up at Cypress Point. Go play TPC Sawgrass. Challenge yourself where they play the Players' Championship. You can play TPC Louisiana on this simulator as well. Bring some friends. They got comfortable seating areas. They can bring you a bucket with beer and ice in it. They can crank some tunes in there. You're all by yourself. You can play 18 holes. You can hit on the driving range. You can watch March Madness while you're in there. It's a great place to hang out and involve golf without spending 5 hours on the course or battling into the elements or trying to fight for a tee time 2 weeks in advance. Go check them out on Segan at Perkins. Segan at Perkins. It's Swing Easy Golf Club in Baton Rouge. They're online at swingeasygcbr.com.
Man, age is just a number. Don't let it dictate how you feel. Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness has anti-aging services that can help you look and feel your best. Visit yourgoodwood.com and discover a renewed sense of vitality.
Hi, this is Beth Serena. Welcome to my pool. The first time I saw this beautiful pool, it exceeded every expectation that I had. They were able to get everything we wanted in this pool. It is a beautiful pool. We live out here, we eat out here, we watch TV out here. This is like our living room outside. We love this pool and everything about it. When we decided to build our pool, we called a great friend who is one of the best pool builders in the country in North Louisiana, and we said, who would you choose to build a pool in Baton Rouge? And without a hesitation, he told us Russell Pools. He said their history, tradition of great builds, great pools was unmatched. So of course, who did we call? Russell Pools. The advice I would give to anyone looking to build a pool is first call Russell Pools. They'll do an incredible job. It'll be incredibly organized. It'll be time efficient, and you will have your pool in no time.
Flight by Yingling is raising the bar by crafting the next generation of light beer. With only 2.6 carbs and 95 calories, this is premium refreshment 6 generations in the making. Flight by Yingling. Raise the bar.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. The NBA's Board of Governors approved a vote for the league to explore bids and applicants for expansion teams exclusively in Las Vegas and Seattle. A bidding process is expected to generate offers in the $7 to $10 billion range for each team. The NBA is targeting the 2028-2029 season for the two expansion franchises to start playing. Yankees and Giants kick off the 2026 Major League Baseball season tonight. Max Fried, Logan Webb. Yankees have the second best odds to win the World Series, but one concern remains: their boom or bust lineup, especially outside of Aaron Judge, notes ESPN MLB analyst Jessica Mendoza.
And yes, they have Cody Bellinger and Giancarlo Stanton and so many other pieces around him, but it's a lot of swing and miss. And you need guys. I mean, it doesn't have to be your top four guys, but when we talk 6, 7, 8, 9 in that Yankees lineup, they need to be able to manufacture runs, to be able to put the ball in play, get on base, hits, all the things that make you a complete team. And right now, the Yankees, it's a lot of home runs.
Jess on Unsportsmanlike. Astros starting shortstop Jeremy Pena, who fractured a fingertip before the World Baseball Classic, will be on the opening day roster as he avoids the IL.
Hey, it's Evan Cohen. Coming up Thursday, the NCAA tournament is back. I'll tell you which higher seed is on upset alert as we head into the Sweet 16. It's Unsportsmanlike, 6 a.m. Eastern, right here on ESPN Radio, ESPN2, and ESPNU.
Now, The Hunt Palmer Show. This is a catastrophe. You are now listening to The Hunt Palmer Show. Brought to you by Renaissance Homes and Pools on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
That's what I wished for when I blew out my candle.
Locking down the middle of the day. Live from the Raising Cane studio. This is Hunt Palmer.
The floor is yours.
Wednesday show is brought to you by Renaissance Homes and Pools. Hour number 2. We'll go inside my SEC baseball power rankings coming up at 2:30. Had to look through them. We got a little bit more data for that after the weekend that was. We got 2 SEC weekends in the rearview mirror. And I feel okay about where things have shaken out. There's still a big chunk in the middle that you can just toss in a hat and flip around in like no order. I'm talking about the Floridas, Oklahomas, Kentuckys, Tennessees, Ole Misses. Like, I don't really know what to do with them. It seems like they've got some real strengths but some real weaknesses. But I feel good about my top 5. I think the top 5 is like ironclad right now for me. And I feel good about the bottom 2. Then there's just like a big mess in the middle. I feel like that's probably the case with a lot of different SEC sports, whether it's football, baseball, basketball. But we'll get to it coming up in about 30 minutes. Obviously, the news of the day is around the reporting from John Rothstein and then Matt Moscona here at LouisianaSports.net and ESPN Baton Rouge regarding Will Wade. I discussed that at the top of the show today, so if you missed it and want to go check that out, you can certainly find that on YouTube or wherever you find your podcast on demand. Just search Hunt Palmer Show. In hour number 2, we're going to talk to Koki Riley, advocate beat recorder for LSU baseball, and get his thoughts on LSU's weekend that was, what they do without Cooper Moore, obviously, is a big deal, and then what they are trying to do this weekend against Kentucky in a big 3-game set for LSU. There's just no two ways about that. You're looking at again, I told you this entering the week, like last week. You got Oklahoma and Kentucky coming in, and then you've got a 4-week stretch that honestly, like, it doesn't look as bad on paper as it did 2 weeks ago before you started SEC play. But just in the nature of what you're looking at, feels really uneasy, right? Because when you look at it, I'll just go through it. After you play Kentucky, you go to Tennessee. That, on paper, sounds awful. Tennessee's been the most powerful program in college baseball beyond LSU in the last 5 years. And if you really take into totality all 5 years, Tennessee is the most powerful program. LSU's just got more national championships. But like, Tennessee is awesome in that ballpark until they're not. And they weren't last year. Now they have a new coach, and they didn't play great last week. Like, Missouri had them on the ropes at times. But you still are at Tennessee. Then you're at Ole Miss. Well, Ole Miss is, powerful. They hit a lot of home runs. They've got an ace in Hunter Elliott, but Cade Townsend is dealing with some injuries. So maybe that's not quite as difficult as you thought it might be. And then A&M comes to Baton Rouge, and you look at the Aggies, and they played a really tight series up at Oklahoma over the weekend. So you were like, okay, that's a nice job on the road. So they come back home to play Georgia. And Georgia treated their pitching staff like a piñata over the course of 3 days in College Station. Now, A&M got out and took it to them on Sunday to salvage a game. But the first 2 games, Georgia punked A&M. So maybe that doesn't look quite as difficult as it once did. And then you're at State, and that's going to be brutal. I'm still very excited to go to Starkville. Let me say that clearly. I'm excited to go to Starkville. I'll be there. I'm going to do my show Friday from a barbecue restaurant there in the Cotton District. I'll be in the ballpark Friday. I'll be in the ballpark Saturday. I'll be in the ballpark Sunday, and then come home late Sunday evening. But that's an intimidating series because that team is legit. They went to Arkansas and played Arkansas straight up and just lost the series. Tough place to go in at Baum. And then Mississippi State just annihilated Vanderbilt over the weekend in Starkville. Just dusted them. 3 games, no problems. So that one is tough. But the 3 in front of it, while far, far cries from easy, are not quite as hard on paper as I thought they might be. Because Tennessee lost a series to Georgia. And then Ole Miss, stumbled out of the gates and dropped a series. They got 2 of 3 from Kentucky, but they got beat by Memphis last night. They were 0 for 15 with runners in scoring position. They've got some issues with their lineup that hits home runs but strikes out way too much. Bullpen's good, but State's the tough one. And you need to get to Mississippi State with a little bit of wiggle room. And unfortunately, you kind of played yourself away, I shouldn't say out of wiggle room, away from wiggle room to this point. So as I look at the schedule, and every game's individual, and you never really know, trying to project out is a fool's errand in most cases. But where I sit, you're probably 2 games off your pace. And that stings because you had 2 outs in the 9th in the opener on Friday at Vanderbilt, and you had the lead with your bullpen guys ready to go on Saturday this past week and let it get away. And if those 2 games go differently, and ifs are brutal, I get it, but if those 2 games go differently, the conversation's just different. Here's what my conversation would be had LSU won those 2 games. It would be, they're not playing great, but they're hanging around and they're in fine position. Instead, now it's, they're not playing great and they're really not in fine position. They got a lot of time left, but Vanderbilt is probably not very good. They lost 2 preseason weekends and got swept in their other SEC series. So Vanderbilt is probably not good. And we're not really sure. Maybe South Carolina is going to go 4-26. Maybe South Carolina without Maneri is way better than they were. Maybe Florida is damn good with that pitching rotation up front. Maybe Florida is the team that got swept this weekend. I'm not sure. But from an LSU perspective, to kind of round this into shape, to talk about the schedule, I think one of your easiest series is in the rearview mirror, and that's Vanderbilt. I think Oklahoma's decent. I don't think they're great. But the good news is, and we'll talk about this a little bit in the power rankings coming up in 20 minutes, is I think that Arkansas and Texas and Auburn are really good. I think they're really good. You don't play them. So while that does hurt from an RPI perspective, it could help you with wins and losses in the league. And you're just looking for wins at this point. So everything has to be considered when you look at LSU from a baseball perspective. You have to consider the talent level. You have to consider the way that they've played. You have to consider the head coach's track record. You have to consider the 2 guys at the front of the weekend rotation. You have to consider the schedule and what it has and what it doesn't. And when I put them all together at this point right here, right now, March 25th, I see a team that is probably going to be fighting for its chance to get in the NCAA tournament. That's what I see. That's the most realistic thing. I don't think LSU is going to lose 8 of 10 weekends. They're 0-2 right now. I don't think they're going to lose 8 of 10. I don't think that it's reasonable to suggest they're going to get scalding hot. And as they're sitting here 2-4, they're going to go 18 and whatever that is, 5 the rest of the way and win 20 league games. I don't think that's going to happen either. I think their ceiling is a top 16 and their floor is missing the whole thing because they just don't figure it out. That's a tough conversation to sit here and have, but it's one that I think is reasonable. What do I think's going to happen? I think LSU is going to win its fair share. I think they're going to struggle on defense. I think that Cooper Moore is going to take some time to come back, and I think they're probably going to be a 2 seed. That's what I think they're going to be. You put me on the spot, tell me I have to project it. I think they're probably a 2 seed. And I think they're pretty good too. I think they're going to play better in April and May than they did in March. I think they are. I think Evans is going to be better, not than he was last week, but in totality, which he was not good for the first 5 weeks of the year. He had one good start. I think Evans will be better. I think Schmidt will be good. I like Sheeran. I like Guidry. I think the outfield is going to produce offensively. That's Stanfield. That's Curiel. That's Brown. I think they're going to hit. And I think you're going to get more from some of the guys who have been woeful for the last 5 weeks. I think you're going to get more from Milam. How much more we'll see. I think you're going to get more from the catchers. I think Zach York's going to be okay. But I don't think you're a great team. And defensively, you're not good. Too many free bases. So I think you're probably 14-16, 15-15, and that's a 2. And if you're a 2, you got to travel somewhere. Hopefully I don't send you to UCLA, quite frankly, which they did when you were defending national champion in 2010. And you send Evans and Schmidt out there, and you see if you can hit your way through it. Nobody asked for this segment on March 25th, but I'm just telling you what I think. I've been wrong plenty of times. I could be dead wrong about this. I panicked on the 2023 team because of the bullpen. I quit on the 2024 team at 3-12. I've been wrong a lot. I've been right a lot. So take that for what it's worth. It's just my opinion. I'm here to give you an opinion. My opinion is they're not going to get scalding hot. They're going to play better. They're going to win their fair share. They're going to be around 500 in the league. It's probably a 2, and we'll see what they can do when they get to the postseason. LSU's never advanced to Omaha without going through the box. Only in this super regional format. They did in College Station in the late 80s, but it's always been through the box. I don't know if that's going to happen this year. I'm hopeful. They can get a home regional. Anything can happen in the super that's paired opposite you, and then you could be at home. But that's what I think about LSU right now. That's my big picture thought. I get that a lot. Like, what do you think about the team? They're going to get better? That's my big picture. I think they're going to play better. I don't think they're going to play quite well enough. I think they're a 2 seed. And I'm not going to, we'll get to see what a matchup looks like, but I don't mind this team in a regional format. I certainly don't mind if it's the team that showed up in Jacksonville. They'll win any regional they go to if they play like that. But they got to play like that more. I need to see that more. I'd like to see it this weekend against Kentucky. Sweep this weekend against Kentucky, I'll think differently. That's the beauty of baseball. That's what I love about this. I love the fact that you don't really know. In football, LSU, call a spade a spade. LSU's played poorly for 3 weeks. In football, you play poorly for 3 weeks, cancel Christmas. It's over. It's over. Bad for 3 weeks, you're done. Men's basketball, you can play bad for 3 weeks. In college baseball, you can play bad for 3 weeks and turn it back on. I love that. I like the hope it provides. There will be plenty of people out there that say, this team stinks. I don't have fun watching them. They're not going to get to a championship. Who cares? And you can think that way. That's fine. But I tend to lean on optimism during baseball. And because of what happened for me on this show in 23 and 24, I'm going to be really slow to hammer their toast button because of those 2 years. That's just me. We'll see. Got to win last night in 10-run fashion. Maybe feeling better about themselves today. I'm hopeful they go out there on Friday and put it on Kentucky. But we'll see. Got 45 minutes left to go. I'm SC Baseball Power Rankings coming your way in 15 minutes. Don't go anywhere. It's the Hunt Palmer Show.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
One Bath and Closets. OneBathAndClosets.com is the website. David Duvall and his team, 30 years redesigning and remodeling bathrooms and closets. Look, it doesn't have to be a full-scale, massive renovation. They can do that at One Bath and Closets, but maybe it's just a tub-to-shower conversion. I got 2 kiddos under 5. 6 o'clock rolls around, they're in the tub. It's a disaster. Splashing everywhere, bubbles everywhere, soap everywhere, towels thrown about, but they have fun. That's my house. If you don't have that in your house and you just stand in the tub to take showers every night, well, take the tub out. That's a lot of room you're wasting.
Put in a glass walk-in shower. Change the functionality of your bathroom. Change the aesthetic in there. Add some value to your home. Don't take baths, or maybe your bathtub's old and dingy or doesn't function anymore. David Vaughn and his team are happy to help you with that. They've got a master plumber under contract. They've been at this for 4 decades almost. Trust One Bath and Closets. Go to the website, onebathandclosets.com. Onebathandclosets.com.
When it comes to industrial construction, River Parish Contractors can do it all. Mechanical, structural, custom fabrication, specialized welding, and turnaround services. Strategically located in between Baton Rouge and New Orleans, we have the local team with the experience and commitment to safety to manage the most complex industrial projects. Period. Here's the deal. Partnering with us means your project is delivered on time, on budget, and most important, safely. River Parish Contractors, let's get building.
My father, J.B. Falgu, had a vision of growth for First American Bank and the communities we serve. The bank's foundation was built on his legacy of compassion, loyalty, and dedication. Through his years of leadership, First American has prospered to heights even J.B. could not have imagined. I know my father would be extremely proud of the customer service and financial stability that First American provides to Southeast Louisiana. We continue to thrive because of the legacy of J.B. Falgu.
The Cane's Box Combo, a symphony of flavors. Raising Cane's Chicken Fingers, one love.
Sometimes you ignore the signs, even when they're right in front of you. Problem gambling isn't always easy to spot. Know the signs. Set your limit. Learn more about healthy gambling habits by visiting us online or text or call for free confidential help now.
I'm Gabrielle McLeod on behalf of the Louisiana Propane Dealers. I have spent hundreds of hours preparing for scholarship competitions. That preparation paid off when I won the Fitness and Talent Awards along with the title of Miss Louisiana. The Louisiana Propane Dealers are also pretty talented and want you to be prepared for when the power goes out. Visit louisianapropane.com to find out about propane generators and other safety tips. Louisiana Propane, it truly is the fuel for our future.
Supreme Jasmine is premium American-grown rice. From local farms to your table, every grain is supreme.
You're listening to The Hunt Palmer Show, brought to you by Renaissance Homes and Pools.
Wednesday shows brought to you by Renaissance Homes and Pools. Looking for the forever home that you've always wanted? Renaissance Homes and Pools can build that for you. Looking for a dream pool? Renaissance Homes and Pools can build that for you. How about an outdoor kitchen? Looking for a place to entertain outdoors here? Renaissance Homes and Pools can help you out with that. Check them out online at builtbyrenaissance.com. Koki Riley covers the LSU baseball beat for The Advocate. Joins us now on the Jim's Firearms Hotline. Koki, thanks for the time. How are you?
Doing pretty well. How's it going?
Going quite well. How big a deal is the Cooper Moore injury for LSU?
I think it's a really big deal because I think one of the few strengths that this team has shown is that they have three starters who can go 4, 5, 6 innings into a game, and most teams around college baseball, quite frankly, don't have that. And when you take Cooper Moore out of the equation, that simply puts LSU in a spot where it's hard to sort of rely on that. Granted, Zach Cowan's probably a better backup option for that than what most teams have, and that's assuming if Cowan even throws. But yeah, no, it is a really big deal, and I think Moore was throwing better in his second SEC start, and it seemed like he was a little bit on the Anthony Ianson plan, where he kind of gets off to a bit of a slow start in SEC play before kind of slowly improving as the season goes along.
I realize you're not a doctor or a pitching coach or literally Cooper Moore, but like, what does your gut tell you about what his impact is going to be on the rest of this season?
I think that, for LSU, what's most important is to just sort of keep its head above water, as it doesn't have Cooper Moore, because, this team has a record that's, similar to the one that it had in 2024 halfway through SEC play, and that's roughly around the time where Moore might come back. If that ends up being the case, then this team's in a lot of trouble.
Yeah.
And like, I think that it's really just going to come down to, how a guy like Zach Cowan does in the role, how their pitching depth sort of goes, and how that affects the rest of their pitching depth, because they need to be able to pick up those innings again. I'm a little bit more optimistic about that, given what we saw last weekend. But I think ultimately, the biggest problem with this team right now is the bats. And granted that they did score 15 runs last night against Louisiana Tech, they looked a little bit better. Louisiana Tech isn't a terrible team. So I think that, that was definitely a positive sign for them. But how much better is it going to look like against really good pitching and teams that have, SEC caliber arms, and Kentucky's a good team. So they have to win. They kind of have to win this series this weekend, because they're on the road for the next two. And Tennessee has struggled with the plate as well so far this year. So I think they have a shot there. But Ole Miss, I think, is a pretty good team. I mean, they just beat this Kentucky team at home in a pretty competitive series, and that's going to be on the road for LSU. So it's not going to get easy from here, and I think that the bats are going to have to pick it up. And this more injury even makes that even more important for them.
What do you make of last night's offense? Just that's a nice game, or maybe they figured some things out with the people they want out there? How do you feel about it?
I think they figured something out with the people that they want out there a little bit here, just in terms of they want John Pierce in the lineup, they want Omar Cerna in the lineup. How they do that, whether that's, like last night, it was Kate Arambidi being on the bench because of that.
Yeah.
And Saturday it was Zach York on the bench because of that. And then Zach York gets 2 home runs and he returns to the lineup on Tuesday. So what variation of that is kind of the question for this team right now, because of the shifting and a lot of the stuff they're doing on the infield. I think that's how they're trying to make up for the defense aspect of this, because they love their outfield defense. It's the infield defense that's been the real issue for this team, and frankly, the catcher defense has been a problem as well. I don't know how they're gonna solve the catcher defense thing, other than just young guys getting more experience. But I think that on the infield, they think they've created some sort of formula here to taper some stuff over, and it kind of worked last weekend. But it's still, you're still just putting so much pressure on literally one guy, and that's Stephen Milam. So, what is I think I say all that just to say that, yes, they have found some sort of formula here to get their better hitters into the lineup. There's really only one question they sort of need to answer, with that DH spot or whatnot. And then two, they've used the defensive shifting to sort of answer the question that you give yourself on defense when you make those offensive decisions.
Koki Riley is our guest, covers the LSU baseball beat for The Advocate. He's with us on Wednesdays. All right, on the positive side, you saw Kason Evans' best outing as an LSU Tiger back on Thursday. What does that mean?
Yeah, for Evans, I think that's absolutely huge, right? When his mechanics are in line and he's throwing the ball well, he's one of the best pitchers in college baseball, and you saw that the other night. And when it's all about command and control and knowing where all your pitches are going, and that just opens up the rest of the strike zone. And when you're getting ahead and counts that consistently, it just makes it so much easier to manipulate hitters when you're in 1-2 and 0-2 counts. And I think pacing is really huge for him. He works very, very fast. Occasionally, last year, he worked too fast.
Yeah.
He said after the Oklahoma game that he worked too slow in the Vanderbilt game. So I think pacing is very, very important for him, and finding that right pace and finding those right mechanics. And he definitely had that in this game. And it's just a matter of consistency with him at this point, right? Like, he's just got to be able to do this the week in and week out. And if he can do that, then he's one of the best pitchers in the country. If he can't, then it's really going to hurt this team.
This is a pessimistic question. I admit that out front, but I just want your thoughts on it because you watched this team play in person for 3 days. Does what happened to Vanderbilt and Starkville last weekend put your spidey senses up a little bit? Like, I mean, Vanderbilt was not competitive in Starkville.
Yeah. I mean, in terms of how far LSU away is from the top of the conference,
yeah.
Yes. In terms of being like a real College World Series contender, absolutely. It doesn't quite put me there in terms of like they're going to miss the tournament or, oh, they don't have a shot at, winning a regional. I'm not quite there yet. I think this Cooper Moore thing makes it even harder for them to get over that level. But I at the same time, like, and scouts will tell me this all the time, like, this team's too talented for them not to, figure something out at some point. And that, I mean, so like which, that does make sense. And like, we are talking about still relatively small sample sizes when it comes to the sport of baseball, where, like it's like the way this thing is supposed to work out, it's supposed to work out over 80 games, 100 games, 120 games. And quite frankly, we only have 56 before we even get to the postseason. So it's a sprint. And because of that, some of this might just be some variance involved. But I'd say overall, like, I think you're right in the sense of like Mississippi State is clearly on a different level than LSU right now. I don't think that's even debatable. But does that mean that LSU is going to like miss the tournament or anything? No, I don't think we're at that point yet.
Let's talk about LSU and Kentucky this weekend before I let you get out of here. You've talked to Jay Johnson about playing fast catch. He's very familiar with Nick Mingione and the style of play that he plays at Kentucky. Like, what's your concern level with LSU defensively against a team that wants to do the things that Kentucky does this weekend?
Yeah, it's got to be the biggest mismatch of the series, right? With Kentucky's speed on the base paths, their ability to play small ball, their ability to force defenses to play, as you said, fast catch. Catch the ball, get it out quick, make quick decisions with the ball in your hands. I mean, that sounds like a basketball term, but it's really, it's really big for the defense. And LSU shifting is going to be pretty big in this series. Just making sure they get all the scouting right. And really get into those tendencies and put Stephen Milam in the best position to get the ball as much as possible, because he's the one guy that you feel good about when it comes to fast catch. So, Zach York's got to play better defensively. He's really struggling in those sort of fast catch situations, throwing the ball to home plate. You're looking at a guy like John Pearson. Like, if he wants to stay in the lineup moving forward, he's got to play well defensively this weekend. At third base, there's no way of getting around that. And I think Trent Caraway at second base, like, he hasn't made a ton of mistakes, but he's really going to get tested this weekend against this sort of team. So really those the guys that you look at, and along with obviously Aaron Beattie / Cernak catcher. Yeah. Those are really the guys that you look at and you're like, they need something there when it comes to their defense.
Or the pitchers can just strike everybody out. I think that would be fine with Jay Johnson and Nate Yeske. We'll see. We'll see if they're able to do that moving forward this weekend. Koki, we appreciate the time. We'll see you at the box this weekend.
Yep, I'll see you there.
Koki Riley with The Advocate, covering the LSU baseball beat. He is with us on Wednesdays, our Wednesday shows, brought to you by Renaissance Homes and Pools. Come back, and we will talk a little LSU, SEC baseball power rankings. That's next.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Fabry Chevrolet GMC, FabryChevrolet.com, FabryChevrolet.com. Highway 61 in St. Francisville. I've been telling y'all, whether you're in Baton Rouge, just north of town, in Zachary or Baker, over by Scotlandville, if you're in the Felicianos or over in Point Capee, no matter where you are, St. Francisville is a quick drive. My wife and I made the drive up there 3 weeks ago, and it's a hop, skip, and a jump. So if you're looking for a great deal on a Chevy or a GMC, go see the Fabry family at Highway 61 in St. Francisville. They've been in business in Baton Rouge for 35 years. Their reputation is phenomenal for a reason, because they take care of their customers. So if you're looking for a great buying experience, and we know there are ones out there that aren't great. If you're looking for a great buying experience, go see them at Fabry Chevrolet GMC on Highway 61 in St. Francisville. Looking for a Chevy Tahoe, looking for a Chevy Suburban. You got a family road trip coming up this summer that you want to have an SUV for. Fabry Chevrolet GMC. On that note, they've got GMC Yukons and Denali's as well. Check out the entire inventory online at FabryChevrolet.com. Make that short drive to St. Francisville. See my friends at Fabry Chevrolet GMC.
Hi, I'm Mitchell Meredith with Locke Meredith, Sean Fagan & Associates. We take great pride in educating our clients about their rights. Whether you're injured at work or while you drive, call our office at 272-5555. Knowledge is power, and you should know your rights after an injury.
Hi, I'm Sean Fagan of Locke Meredith, Sean Fagan & Associates. When insurance companies have been unfair, we've never been afraid to go to trial. Fighting hard to protect your rights, we never settle a case out of convenience. We only settle when it's right for you. Whether you hire us at all, give us a call.
These are the luckiest ice cubes in the world. They could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they've been called upon to cradle and cool a crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Huh. Looks like the lucky just got luckier. Dos Equis.
Sometimes you ignore the signs, even when they're right in front of you. Problem gambling isn't always easy to spot. Know the signs, set your limit. Learn more about healthy gambling habits by visiting us online or text or call for free, confidential help now.
If your office is experiencing performance issues like slow networks, jammed printers, or disappearing files, Advanced Office Systems may be right for you. With powerful IT solutions, print management, document imaging, and security systems, they help offices regain confidence naturally. Side effects may include uncontrollable efficiency, smoother workflows, and a sudden burst of office joy. Say goodbye to those emotional breakdowns in the supply closet and get back on track with Advanced Office Systems.
Looking for cleaner energy? Propane is energy for everyone. And when you're cooking with clean, affordable propane, you're cooking with gas. In the wintertime, nothing heats a home like Louisiana propane. And when you need hot water, propane's got you covered. Oh, and you won't regret that propane generator when the power goes out. I'm Miss Louisiana, Gabrielle McLeod, and to find more information and to find a propane dealer near you, visit louisianapropane.com.
Who bears the standard? Who sets the bar? It's not those satisfied by low-hanging fruit or by taking it easy. No, the standard is set by the best of us, by those who work hard. Dig deeper. Give more. At Sunshine, we're proud to provide John Deere products that work hard for you, the standard bearers. Find the dealer nearest you at sunequip.com.
You're listening to The Hunt Palmer Show, brought to you by Renaissance Homes and Pools.
I love working with local companies, and certainly Renaissance Homes and Pools fits that bill. Joey Blanchard's been in this community for decades. He has helped dozens and dozens of Baton Rouge homeowners get into the homes of their dreams and the pools of their dreams. That may include an outdoor kitchen as well. If that fits you, you're looking to build that forever home, Joey can help you at Renaissance Homes and Pools. If you're looking for that pool, he can do that for you. And you're not too late. It's just middle of March. You contact Joey today, shoot him a text. I'm going to give you a cell phone number at the end of the read. Shoot him a text, say, hey, I've been thinking about a pool. Let's get started. He'll have that consultation with you. He's got this incredible software. Can design whatever it is you're looking for. Big resort-style pool with all the fancy stuff in, or something simple like a cocktail pool, if that's what fits your personal needs better. He can do it. Send him a text, 225-252-7745, 225-252-7745. It's a great time to get a shovel in the ground and make sure that you are swimming when the summer heats up here in South Louisiana. Renaissance Homes and Pools. They're online at builtbyrenaissance.com. All right, we got 25 minutes left to go, so now's the time. It's time for our SEC Baseball Power Rankings.
Hunt's SEC Power Rankings. The Texas Longhorns.
I think Texas is definitely the best team. I think the top 4 are set in stone right now. Really, the top 5 for me are set in stone, but Texas is the best. They beat Ole Miss 2 out of 3 and really could have swept that series with ease if Ole Miss doesn't hit a grand slam in the 9th inning. But they've battled, and they've won a couple series against Ole Miss and at Auburn, so I think that's impressive.
The Mississippi State Bulldogs.
State's really good. They went to Arkansas and lost 2 out of 3, but that was a tough series, and then they came back and just dominated Vandy and Duty Noble. Bad news, Mississippi State, McPherson, their Friday starter, is dealing with some injury stuff. He's not going to pitch this weekend against Mississippi State. Sounds like it could be okay down the line. There's no UCL issues. Brian O'Connor was very clear about that, but there is an issue, not unlike Cooper Moore for LSU. It's a Friday guy, though. We'll see how that goes, but I like State a lot.
The Arkansas Razorbacks.
They're 4-2 as usual. Beat Mississippi State at home. They went to South Carolina and won 2 out of 3 after winning 22-3 in Game 1. Paul Maneri was fired after that, and then they played 2 tough games with South Carolina. But 4-2 as usual. Dave Van Horn like clockwork.
The Auburn Tigers.
This team is good. They went to Missouri and swept, and Missouri's functional this year. They played well in Knoxville. Auburn swept them on the road. And then they lost a game to 2 out of 3 to Texas. But they fought back and got one of those games. They played Texas relatively close. I think they're competitive. I think they're good. I love their Friday night starter, Marciano. I think he's excellent. I love their lineup. Rembert's been very, very good since coming back from injury. So I like Auburn a lot.
The Georgia Bulldogs.
First 4 was the same from last week. This is a big mover. Georgia's up 4 spots. They beat Tennessee 2 out of 3 in a really close series. So I had them at 9. But then they went to A&M, and they hit like 11 home runs in the first 2 games. And they only hit home runs in little old Athens. No, they were bashing them out of College Station left and right. Georgia has a really good bullpen and a really good lineup. I don't know about the starting rotation, so that's why they're back towards the back of this pack. But I think they're a good team. They're 5th.
The Oklahoma Sooners.
I just wasn't wowed with Oklahoma this week. They did come to the box and win. You can't sneeze at that. I think that has more to do with LSU's ineptitude than really a lot. But they have beaten Texas A&M and LSU, and they're 4-2. So I'm not going to move them way back. I moved them back 1 spot. I don't know that I think this is a top 8 national seed. They're probably on the borderline of a host. I think they're going to lose some series down the road. But Skip Johnson's done a really good job. He's got second worst facilities in the league and a decent team.
The Kentucky Wildcats.
I see Kentucky with my own eyes this weekend. I moved them up 1 spot from 8 to 7. They swept Alabama opening weekend. They lost 2 out of 3 at Swayze Field in Ole Miss this past weekend. That puts them at 4-2, which is a good spot to be in. They're typical small ball team, and they're not dynamic on the mound, and they're having some trouble on Fridays. We'll see if they change that up this week. But I think they're okay.
The Tennessee Volunteers.
They beat Missouri 2 out of 3. I moved them up. More so teams moving back behind them. You'll see that here to come. But Tennessee's right there in the middle of the pack. I think that's fair. I liked what I saw from Tegan Kuhns on Friday last week. I watched some of his start against Missouri. They lost that game, but he's got really good stuff. They're not hitting like they need to, and that's why they're in the middle of the pack.
Texas A&M!
Aggies have lost both series. Lost at Oklahoma. Lost at home to Georgia. They've got mediocre starting pitching and a high ceiling lineup that hasn't really come together, and I think they got a bad coach. That's what I think. I think they got a bad coach. That's what I'll leave it at that. A&M is at 9.
The Florida Gators.
Florida backs up 3 spots. They swept South Carolina. We know now that had a lot more to do with South Carolina than Florida. Then they were swept by Bama, so they're 3-3. They get a no-hitter thrown against them in the first game, but I still think their top 2 in the rotation of Peterson and Aiden is a good 1-2. It's Aiden. I keep wanting to say Aiden Hall. It's Aiden King. Aiden King is a good 1-2. Their lineup's got some really good pieces, but they're just not winning a lot. So I backed them up from 7 to 10 this week.
The Vanderbilt Commodores.
Beat LSU 2 out of 3, swept by Mississippi State. Now they got some awful news today that their most talented arm, Austin Nye, is out for the season. He did not pitch against LSU or this past week against Mississippi State, so not something that LSU can hang its hat on. Oh, well, we had to face that guy. No, he was out for that weekend too, but that's going to make it tough on Vanderbilt. I don't think they're very good. I don't think they're a threat to host a regional this year.
The Ole Miss Rebels.
Got the Rebels at 12. They lost at Texas 2 out of 3. They beat Kentucky 2 out of 3. They swing and miss so much. It's a swing and miss so much. Like last night against Memphis, they're striking out so much. They were 0 for 15 with runners in scoring position. Like, they can hit homers. Tristan Bissett is off to an amazing start. They got 2 really good starting pitchers. Their bullpen's pretty good. They swing and miss so much. That's why I've got them at 12.
The LSU Tigers.
LSU backs up to 13, guys. What am I supposed to hang my hat on here? Evans had a good start. Like, that's a good thing. I don't think LSU will finish at 13th. I cannot, the way that they're playing in good conscience, put them ahead of 13th at this point. That's where they are.
The Alabama Crimson Tide.
They swept Florida. I didn't even move them. Fade through a no-hitter. That's great. I've watched Alabama play like 4 games this year, and I just don't trust it. LeBron had a big power weekend against Florida. Faye and Zane Adams are a good top 2. I think Alabama is the 3rd worst team in the league. That's where I've got them right now.
The Missouri Tigers.
Missouri has been plucky. They were swept by Auburn, but they played them tough all 3 games. And they lost 2 out of 3 to the Vols, but they beat them on Friday with Tegan Kuhns on the mound. They're scrappy. They're going to win like 8 league games this year. Like, they won't get in the tournament, but they've got 1 league win. They're going to win 8. They're going to win 7 in their last 8 weekends. That's what I think for Missouri. So got them at 15.
The South Carolina Gamecocks.
Very curious about this because Maneri leaves after they got here's their first 4 SEC games with Maneri. Got shut out and lost. Got shut out and lost. Got 10-run, 13-3. Then they lost 22-3 in a game they were down 22-0. That's the first 3. Shutout, 10-run, 10-run. And then they fired Maneri, came back and won a game, and then fought really hard. And we're in a game with Arkansas. Maybe they're scrappy the rest of the way. Maybe that was just a bump from firing the coach. I tend to think the latter. I'm curious, though, because LSU's got to play South Carolina, and I'm counting on LSU getting 3 wins that weekend. It's a lot to count on an SEC weekend. The way LSU's playing, can't even beat Sacramento State in a series, so me saying they're going to sweep an SEC team's real ambitious, I know, but I'm counting on 3 wins. They need to put it back in the deep freeze, hopefully. That's your SEC Power Rankings. Top 4 stay the same. Texas, Mississippi State, Arkansas, and Auburn. Georgia up 4 spots, number 5. Then Oklahoma at 6. Kentucky at 7. Tennessee at 8. A&M at 9. The Florida Gators at number 10. Vandy at 11. You're thinking, where the heck is LSU? Well, they're not at 12. That's Ole Miss. LSU's at 13. Alabama 14. Missouri 15. South Carolina 16. My top 4 were the same week over week, and my bottom 3 were the same week over week. It's the ones in the middle. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 teams in the middle that I think could be regional hosts, that could be fighting for their life to get in the tournament. That's how slim the margins are in this league. We know that, and that's what I think about the SC Power Rankings this week. So let's move on, and we'll come back and close out the show next.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Let me tell you about First American Bank and Trust. Let me tell you where you can go to the website first. It's FABT.com, FABT.com. They've been at this for 116 years. You do something 116 years, you probably got to hang for it. They do. That's why they got 25 locations throughout Southeast Louisiana. So there's always one near you, no matter where you are in our part of the world. Just look when you're driving. You'll notice First American Bank and Trust. If you're looking for a new bank, you're looking for a loan commercially, who should I do business with? You're looking for a loan personally for a new home that you're building or buying. First American Bank and Trust is your community bank. They've been here for over a century. Their management, branch to branch, averages 25 years with the bank. And the people that are making the decisions about you and your money are local. They're part of your community. They're at church with you. Their kids go to your school. They're on the baseball team and the softball team. That's what makes First American Bank and Trust awesome. And if you think, well, they're local, they probably can't help me with what I need. I'm a pretty sizable business. They've got 25 locations. They've got the assets to help you. So contact them. Go see them in person or check them out online, FABT.com. It's First American Bank and Trust.
These ice cubes could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they cradle and cool the crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Nicely done, ice cubes.
When it comes to industrial construction, River Parish Contractors can do it all. Mechanical, structural, custom fabrication, specialized welding, and turnaround services. Strategically located in between Baton Rouge and New Orleans, we have the local team with the experience and commitment to safety to manage the most complex industrial projects. Period. Here's the deal. Partnering with us means your project is delivered on time, on budget, and most important, safely. River Parish Contractors, let's get building.
After a decade of working in private duty nursing, I know how hard it can be to find compassionate care for the ones that you love the most. So I started Decision Critical, a premier concierge nursing agency, so we can take care of you wherever you are. Our highly skilled nurses provide exceptional care from the comfort of your own home with personalized packages for short-term, long-term, or even around-the-clock care. Visit us at decisioncriticalbr.com and give us a call today to get started.
Looking for cleaner energy? Propane is energy for everyone. Propane water heaters are very cost efficient, and the savings are even greater with a tankless propane water heater. We all know that Louisiana propane is a safe and environmentally friendly fuel. So why not go green while you save some green? I'm Miss Louisiana, Gabrielle McLeod, and for more information, visit louisianapropane.com.
Hi, this is Beth Serena. Welcome to my pool. The first time I saw this beautiful pool, it exceeded every expectation that I had. They were able to get everything we wanted in this pool. It is a beautiful pool. We live out here, we eat out here, we watch TV out here. This is like our living room outside. We love this pool and everything about it. When we decided to build our pool, we called a great friend who is one of the best pool builders in the country in North Louisiana, and we said, who would you choose to build a pool in Baton Rouge? And without a hesitation, he told us Russell Pools. He said their history, tradition of great builds, great pools was unmatched. So of course, who did we call? Russell Pools. The advice I would give to anyone looking to build a pool is first call Russell Pools. They'll do an incredible job. It'll be incredibly organized. It'll be time efficient. And you will have your pool in no time.
Everything you need for a stunning garden is at the Plant Barn in Baton Rouge. From trees and shrubs to plants and pottery, the Plant Barn has it all at great prices.
You're listening to The Hunt Palmer Show, brought to you by Renaissance Homes and Pools.
Let me tell you about the Highland Insurance Group, HighlandIG.com, HighlandIG.com. You know, if you're a business owner, your chief concern is running the business. It's doing what you do, right? So you delegate. You've got a legal team. You've got an accounting team, maybe a CPA. You should trust your insurance broker the same way and delegate in the same way. And the Highland Insurance Group is who you should trust because they are phenomenal in terms of their knowledge technically of insurance. So no matter what it is that you do, they've got clients that are in that line of work. They know what carriers want that kind of risk, and they can place you with the proper carrier. They're an independent broker, so they've got contracts with dozens of markets. They can place your program where it needs to be at the right price with the right coverages so you can just work and not worry about that next hurricane and not worry about the next car wreck or not worry about what your employee clicks on an email that he or she probably shouldn't click on. Not have to worry about that cyber attack that might happen there. Might not have to worry about that workers' compensation issue. That's what the Highland Insurance Group does. They're technical experts. So if you're looking to take insurance off your plate, just let your broker handle it. Someone you can trust. Not just somebody that's running to you with the lowest price possible. Get what you pay for, right? Trust the Highland Insurance Group. Trust Jonathan Carbo. HighlandIG.com is the website. HighlandIG.com. All right, I'm reading this. I'm not going to play the sound because it would be too difficult to get to it at this point. But John Rothstein from CBS has issued an update on his Will Wade reporting. Earlier today, he sent out a tweet suggesting that LSU was moving toward hiring McNeese athletic director Heath Schroyer. We've talked about that. Matt Mosconis reported the same thing at LouisianaSports.net, which you can read up there for free. Rothstein's got his finger on the pulse of college basketball as well as anybody. And so he reported that Heath Schroyer would be hired by LSU, that he and Dr. Wade Roos hired Will Wade at McNeese, and that they would work towards getting Will Wade to LSU. Here is a quote from John Rothstein's latest update at 2:20 this afternoon. Quote Rothstein, "I'm not someone who is a rumors and speculation type reporter, but I will say this. All signs are now pointing that the LSU job is going to open. They're going to part ways with Matt McMahon, and Will Wade is definitely on the verge of going back to Baton Rouge as LSU's head coach in what would be one of the more incredible reunions. I'm telling you, barring something unforeseen, Will Wade is going to be the head coach at LSU. That's John Rothstein talking. It's not Hunt Palmer. But look, as we talked about 1 hour and 40 minutes ago, it's just connecting dots.
Why are you smiling so hard, Hunt?
It's just connecting dots.
The people can't see right now.
I was watching these NC State guys spin their wheels, and it's just like you're just not paying attention. And like, who do you think knows Will Wade better? The people down here that have known him for 6, 8 years, 10 years, that have relationships with him, or the folks that are actively moving people around that know him? Lee Mallett, Board of Supervisors chairman.
Yep.
Roos, president of the university. Schroyer, athletic director. Like, actively moving people around that know him, or the people on Tobacco Road who have known him for 11 months, who would be the last to know that. Like, that's, and then they looked at LSU and saying that, and like, what are they talking about? He's definitely not doing that. It's like, do you know? Like, do you really know? You don't know. You don't know. So that's the point. We got to play Take It or Leave It.
Take it or leave it.
Take it or leave it.
Today's hottest stories in sports, news, and sometimes even Hunt's life. The question is, will he take them or leave them?
All right, so slam dunk, I guess you want to call him the legend. Matt McClung made history on Tuesday night in the G League. McClung becomes the G League's all-time leading point scorer with a 59-point outing. The Windy City Bulls plays for the Windy City Bulls now. McClung passed Ronaldo major mark of 5,299 points that has stood since 2017, and he just did it in 253 games. So the question for you, Hunter, is the NBA is that talented that the G League all-time leading scorer still can't get a roster spot? Take it or leave it.
I'll take it. I mean, that's pretty clear. It's one of those deals like you had somebody set the minor league home run record in the last 10 years, and they're like, is that something you want to have? Yeah. Do you want to have the minor league home run record? Like, you have a home run record, but you didn't make it to the majors. Or you would rather hit 6 home runs in the major league over 10 years than hit 180 over 8 years or whatever. I mean, it's probably not the distinction that you want, but Matt McClung is a talented dude. He came to the PMAC with Texas Tech in a game that Texas Tech got out alive and won. I think Will Wade was the coach during that time.
Interesting.
I mean, I don't think it's an honor that you want, but McClung's making 6 figures. Probably got some endorsement deals from the slam dunk competition.
A little some, but
it's not been a monster lucrative career, but he's playing hoops, so you got to love it.
He's getting paid to hoop, but still, I just can't believe this guy can be, and he's multiple-time MVP in the G League, by the way, and he still just cannot get a roster spot. I don't understand it. So, Pete Crow Armstrong new contract extension with the Chicago Cubs is for 6 years, $115 million. The deal is set to begin in 2027. It's a rarity because it does not include a club option, allowing Armstrong to hit free agency before his age 31 season. Yep. So, Cubs making the right move, locking in PCA. Take it or leave it.
Take it, baby.
I'll take
Love it. He's gonna, even if he's not good offensively, which he wasn't the second half, he will play Gold Glove defense in center field for 6 years straight, and that's a good thing to have. And the odds are that he does hit because he's been a great prospect and had a 30-30 season last year. So
30-30.
But I think he hit 22 or 23 before the All-Star break, and then just hit nothing after the All-Star break. But they got it done. PCA wants to get it done. He's struck up a huge relationship with Caleb Williams and Bedard, who's the Blackhawks' young superstar.
Okay.
So they all go to each other's games and stuff. They're all super popular in Chicago now. So he'll be the face of the franchise. Bregman's there, Dansby Swanson's there.
He's the young
got some
guy.
guys, but he's the future of the Cubs. And he's a big dramatic. He's a big personality too. So it's a good thing. I'm fired up. On the record.
Okay.
It's on the record. On YouTube. It's wherever we can clip it and put it anywhere. There is no chance the Cubs do not win the division this year.
Oh, no, we got that.
100%.
I have 2 of them, by the way.
100% we're winning the division.
Oh, we got you, because I have 2 of them clipped up. We'll bring it back. Well, trust me, we'll bring it back. So the San Francisco 49ers will open the 2026 season on the international stage, taking on the Los Angeles Rams in the NFL's first ever game in Melbourne, Australia. So listen to these times, Hunt. Okay. So the Week 1 matchup is set for Thursday, September 10th at 5:30 p.m. Pacific time at Melbourne Cricket Stadium, whatever it's called.
Okay.
Due to the 17-hour time difference, the 49ers will take the field Friday at 10:35 a.m. Yes, 10:35 a.m. So is the NFL getting sickening with this? Take it or leave it.
I'll take it. I mean, it's 25 minutes later than the college kids play in the SEC if they play at 11. It's 25 minutes later than Ohio State and Michigan play. The pros can certainly get up and play at 10:35 in the morning. But I don't like it. I think it's fine if our professional sports teams play at their home stadium in front of their home fans.
Yeah, week one, by the way.
I think that'd be just fine. So I don't like it. I don't like the money grab constantly. Everything we have to do everything to try to get more money, and I just don't see it that way. But that's because I'm a fan and I'm not a business person and involved in it. So it is what it is.
I'm gonna keep watching, but 17-hour time difference. That's kind of
That's significant.
That's it for Take It or Leave It.
All right, if you missed any of the show today, let's some Will Wade chatter. LSU baseball talk for 30 minutes. We talked some Lane Kiffin as well. Plus, Saints got Zach Wilson. All that on demand wherever you find your sound. Hunt Palmer Show. Hunt on LSU for our LSU stuff. Hunt on Saints for our Saints stuff. Matt is going to drive you home next. He will certainly have more on the Will Wade situation. Tomorrow, we're back.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Lifetime Roofing. LifetimeRoofingLA.com. LifetimeRoofingLA.com is that website. You know, you need to trust your roofer. It's a big decision, obviously. And there are companies that will come in and try to take advantage of people during a time of need. And when you've got a big storm that blows through here, a lot of folks need roofs. Trust folks at Lifetime Roofing. Get them to get that inspection. If you think there may be something wrong, but you're not sure, you got a rain, you might have an issue, there's a hail, but you're not sure if that might be an issue, a powerful windstorm that we have, get the folks at Lifetime Roofing to do that inspection. Maybe you need a new roof, and they'll help you through that process. Maybe you just need a repair. They can do that as well. Maybe you just need some fortification, need a tune-up on that roof. They can do that as well. They're not here to just sell you the most expensive thing they have, which is, of course, that new roof. If you need one, they can help you with it at Lifetime Roofing. Check them out online at LifetimeRoofingLA.com. They got financing available up to 18 months at 0%, and every single roof can come with that lifetime workmanship warranty. Check them out online, LifetimeRoofingLA.com.
Championships are won with preparation, and so are great roofs.
The Tigers don't cut corners on the floor. Parrish Construction and Roofing won't cut corners on your home either.
Do business with someone you know. Parrish Construction and Roofing.
ParrishBuilt.com.